Hey everyone, it's PewDiePie here. Today, we're diving into the 15 worst games in the world that you will wish you had never played. We're talking about games so bad, they make you question the very fabric of reality. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Grab your barf bags, buckle up, and let's descend into the depths of gaming despair. First up, we've got the granddaddy of bad games. The one that allegedly buried Atari itself, E.T. the Extraterrestrial. This game is infamous for its awful graphics. Seriously, E.T. looks more like a pixelated potato with legs than an alien. And the gameplay? Don't even get me started. You spend most of your time falling into pits and getting stuck in the environment. It's like the developers designed the game to be as frustrating as possible. Rumor has it, Atari was so embarrassed by this game that they buried millions of unsold cartridges in the New Mexico desert. It's basically a digital dumpster fire. So unless you're a hardcore collector of gaming history's biggest blunders, I'd recommend avoiding E.T. at all costs. Next up, we've got a game that's about as fun as a kryptonite enema, Superman 64. The controls are about as responsive as a brick wall. Trying to navigate Superman through the game's infamous fog-filled environments is like trying to herd cats while blindfolded. And the missions? Get ready for the most repetitive and tedious gameplay of your life. Most of the time, you're stuck flying through rings, because apparently, saving Metropolis from Lex Luthor's evil schemes involves mastering the art of aerial acrobatics. Superman 64 is a shining example of how not to make a superhero game. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's a complete and utter disaster. Hold on to your steering wheels, folks, because we're about to enter a realm of brokenness so profound that it defies all logic and reason. I'm talking about big rigs over the road racing. There's no collision detection, which means you can phase through other cars and objects like a ghost. And the bugs, oh boy, where do I even begin? From trucks flying off into the stratosphere to opponents that never move, this game is a glitch fest of epic proportions. The developers even had the audacity to include a message in the game that says, "You're winner." Yeah, no, you're definitely not. Big rigs over the road racing is a masterclass in how not to make a racing game. Avoid it like the plague, unless you want to experience the digital equivalent of a car crash. Chapter 4. Ride to Hell Retribution, more like Ride to Hell Refund Edition. This game takes a potentially cool concept, a biker gang action game, and turns it into a dumpster fire. The graphics look like they're from the early 2000s, the voice acting is unconvincing, and the gameplay is clunky. It's packed with gratuitous nudity, sexual violence, and objectification of women. The offensive content alone should make you steer clear. Ride to Hell. Retribution should have stayed in development hell. It's a sexist, buggy, and offensive mess. Stick to Road Rash for a decent biker game. Sonic the Hedgehog 2006. Sonic 06, more like Sonic oh no, oh Sonic, what have they done to you? This game is a technical mess and a narrative nightmare, plagued by glitches, bugs, and frame rate drops. The controls are slippery and unresponsive, and the camera, it wants you to fail. The story is a convoluted mess with a creepy romance. Sonic 06 is a stain on Sonic's legacy. Chapter 6. Aliens Colonial Marines. Game over, man, game over. Aliens Colonial Marines. This game had so much potential. A first-person shooter set in the alien universe with promises of terrifying xenomorphs and pulse-pounding action? Sign me up. But what we got was a buggy, broken, and downright disappointing mess. The AI is atrocious, with enemies often forgetting how to see or shoot, making the supposed terrifying xenomorphs about as threatening as a wet paper bag. The trailers promised stunning visuals, but the final product looked like it belonged on the PS2. Aliens Colonial Marines is a cautionary tale of hype gone wrong. It's a reminder that even the most promising games can turn out to be complete disasters. Chapter 7. Bubsy 3D. What could possibly go wrong? Bubsy 3D. This game is a masterclass in how not to do a 3D platformer. The controls are slippery and unresponsive, making Bubsy feel like he's skating on ice while wearing roller skates. The camera is a Lovecraftian horror, constantly getting stuck in walls or pointing in the wrong direction, leaving you disoriented and nauseous. And then there's Bubsy himself. His voice acting is nails on a chalkboard levels of grating, and his constant quips and one-liners will make you want to shove your controller into your ears to make it stop. Bubsy 3D is a game so bad it's legendary. It's a reminder that just because you can make a game in 3D doesn't mean you should. Chapter 8. Rambo, the video game, more like Rambo, the video game over, Rambo, the video game. On paper it sounds like a match made in heaven. You get to play as John Rambo, the ultimate one-man army, mowing down enemies with your trusty M60. What could possibly go wrong? Everything. This game is a buggy, repetitive, and downright boring mess that fails to capture any of the intensity or excitement of the Rambo films. The graphics are dated, the gameplay is shallow, and the story is non-existent. Rambo the video game is a disgrace to the legacy of John Rambo. It's a game that should have been left for dead in the jungles of Vietnam. Chapter 9. Shaq Attack of Boredom, Shaq Fu. What if Shaquille O'Neal, basketball superstar, was also a mystical martial artist? The answer is a resounding no. Clunky controls, stiff animations, and graphics like a 5-year-old's drawing. Shallow, repetitive gameplay with button mashing. Shaq's sprite looks like a cardboard cutout. Shaq Fu should have been dunked in the trash can. Chapter 10. Plumbers don't wear ties. What in the world did I just watch? Plumbers don't wear ties. This isn't just a bad game, it's an experience that transcends the very definition of bad. This so-called interactive movie is a bizarre and uncomfortable journey through the minds of developers who clearly had no idea what they were doing. The story, if you can even call it that, is a nonsensical mess that involves romance, plumbers, and a whole lot of awkward sexual tension. The acting is atrocious, the dialogue is cringeworthy, and the production values are non-existent. Plumbers Don't Wear Ties is a game that will haunt your dreams. Chapter 11. Daikatana, John Romero's Fall from Grace. Daikatana. The game that was supposed to be John Romero's triumphant return to the FPS genre he helped define with Doom and Quake. Instead, it became a cautionary tale of hubris, mismanagement, and missed deadlines. The game was plagued with development problems from the start, with numerous delays and a marketing campaign that infamously boasted John Romero's about to make you his bitch. When the game finally did release, it was met with scathing reviews, with critics lambasting its clunky controls, repetitive level design, and buggy AI. Daikatana is a reminder that even the most talented developers can make mistakes. Chapter 12. Night Trap. Banned, censored, and still bad. Night Trap. This game is infamous for being one of the first video games to be targeted by the US Congress for its violent and suggestive content. The gameplay is essentially an interactive movie where you watch grainy footage of teenagers being stalked and attacked by vampires. Night Trap is a prime example of a game that's more famous for its controversy than its quality. Chapter 13. Custer's Revenge, the most offensive game ever made. Custer's Revenge. This game is not just bad, it's downright offensive and exploitative. It's a game that never should have been made, and its existence is a stain on the history of video games. The game's premise is disgusting and disrespectful. You play as General George Armstrong Custer, and your goal is to rape a Native American woman who is tied to a pole. Custer's Revenge is a prime example of how video games can be used to perpetuate harmful stereotypes and promote violence against marginalized groups. Chapter 14. Action 52. 52 Ways to Waste Your Money. Action 52. This game is the epitome of quantity over quality. For the low price of $199, you got 52 games on one cartridge. The catch? They were all terrible. Action 52 is a reminder that sometimes less is more. Chapter 15. Hong Kong, 97. So bad, it's good. And finally, we come to Hong Kong 97, a game so bad, it's almost good. This game is a glorious mess of broken English, nonsensical plot, and hilariously awful graphics. The game's story, if you can even call it that, involves China opening its borders, leading to an influx of criminals and undesirables from mainland China into Hong Kong. You play as Chin, a relative of Bruce Lee, who is tasked with killing all the criminals. The gameplay is a side-scrolling shooter, but with controls so stiff and unresponsive, you'll swear your keyboard is filled with molasses. Hong Kong 97 is a game that has to be seen to be believed. Outro, subscribe for more gaming cringe. And there you have it, the 15 worst games in the world that you will wish you had never played. Let me know in the comments if you've had the misfortune of playing any of these. I'm genuinely curious to hear your stories of pain and suffering. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more awesome content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.